the studies that are being conducted in Pakistan, the patient pool is very low. It's almost 100, apart from a few studies. I have given an example of a study at AKUH. What is the reason behind it? If we look at this data, the bulk of the clinical trials are being conducted in countries, America, Europe, Australia, which is almost 70% of the clinical trials are conducted in a population of 15%. And when we compare it with the South Asian or our data, which is almost 30%, 4% of the clinical trials are going on there. Similarly, if we look at the clinical trial registries in Pakistan, although our clinical trial registry is relatively new, it is still under approval by WHO ICTRP. But the data shows that there are currently 36 studies still. This is the data till May 2022. The number might increase a bit, but it is still very, very low when we compare to the global clinical trials. So what is the importance of clinical trials? We are all aware that basically clinical trials are run to evaluate the efficacy, safety and side effects before widespread use of the products. We have seen the trends are changing now. The data shows that as many as 53% of the trials are shifting to South Africa. And the burden is that due to lower operational costs, fewer patient population and recruitment. But Pakistan is still, we have a lot to do. We are still very low, although the number of trials are increases. Now with regards to the sponsors, industry sponsorship is almost negligible. Non-industrial agencies such as universities, hospitals, non-profit organizations are the major sponsors. MNC's contribution is almost negligible. Pakistan, if all the stakeholders combine, we can have a good share of sponsorship. What are the major factors to attract clinical research in Pakistan? There are 5. A suitable patient pool, 30%, cost efficiency, 20%, regulatory conditions, 20%, relevant expertise, 15%, infrastructure and environment, 15%. The need, what is to share, is to present this data to the global people, and for this the government and the sponsors need to work closely with each other. We have high disease burden, treatment naive population, relaxed regulatory policies, and a growing interest in research, and there are certain steps that still needs to be taken. If we remove these obstacles, we could have good clinical trials in Pakistan. We have to remove inadequate infrastructure, insufficient resources, limited trained and skilled researchers, lack of funding, lack of effective collaboration, poor quality assurance and regulatory barriers. So the need to be understand to improve the quality of research at all levels in Pakistan. And for this, Martin Doe has already taken initiatives, and we have clinical trials that are being sponsored by international organizations as well, and a few trials are at the NBC approval level. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed Hamas, for your presentation. Now, I would like to call Dr. Masood Javed on the stage for his initial remarks. Dr. Masood Javed is the Director of Medical Affairs at Farm Evo. He is a trained general surgeon and medical educationist. Dr. Javed is also the Director of Institute of Leadership Excellence and Associate Editor of the Pakistan Journal of Medical Sciences. With over 125 published speakers and 2 authored books on scientific and medical writing, he regularly conducts faculty development training and serves as an adjunct faculty member at several medical universities. Let's welcome Dr. Masood.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Dr. Saeed Hamid, for this wonderful opportunity. And as it's a panel discussion, so there is no PowerPoint of mine. Farm Evo started its journey of the first study because first time when we are in the market in early 2000. At that point, we initiated with a head-to-head clinical trial about our product compared to the innovator, and the cost difference is 1/10 as compared to proving that the local pharmaceutical industry's product is as good, as efficacious as compared to the high-end other molecule, and the tendency continues from days onwards. As discussed by some of the speakers beforehand, why local pharmaceutical companies are not coming up with their more clinical trials, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Moment DRAP only approved those molecules which are approved in FDA, USA, EMA, and other such kind of stringent countries, not the other way around. That is the reason that Professor Javed Akram pointed out that he found out a wonderful herb. It has a much more potential for the indigenous problems that are, but nobody coming up for the commercialization of the thing, because we cannot see the future of those things if we develop such kind of things. So these need to be looked into if we like to have phase 1, 2, 3 trials with the local industry as well, apart from not the phase 4. Phase 4 studies, of course, that is, let me share, there is some center of excellence like AKUH and other center as well, but there are some other experiences which we need to work together. Let me share 2 or 3 experiences of mine. We like to do one of the phase 4 clinical study, real world documentation and the research we want to do. Product is already approved and all other. And we received the comments from the IRB of our largest, one of the tertiary care hospitals in Karachi as well, that kindly you will not going to use the result of the trial for your promotion of the product. So why as a commercial entity I am like to do a research and generate real world data when those people who are sitting there asking that entity you will not going to use for the promotional purposes. So that's need to be looked into. Second, we have done one of the clinical research in another wonderful hospital, and we are very much, even for the IFP approval, it took a lot of time and energy to convince some of the stakeholders, because it's a kind of a regulatory study and it's nothing new, it's a phase 4 type of thing as well. Whatever has been done wonderfully. At the end, when the trial concluded and the auditors came and they want to audit there, and then we realized, at least we also realized, we are learning from our own things, that the IRB letter don't have a reference number and there is no minutes of the meeting available there. That's like the whole study shaggy, and everything is as per institutional and the best ethical practice. Even some of the members are the members of some of the national good committees as well. So this another thing. And the last experience, which is few months back, we are involved in technical support of one of the institution, and the site is DRAP approved. And it's wonderful to see yesterday that there is 109 clinical sites which is approved by DRAP in Pakistan. Wonderful figures which we see. The same site is also DRAP approved. I received the IRB letter because we are involved in asset. Just can we share the IRB letter as we go along? The IRB letter approval is signed by one of the clinical investigator because he's the head of the clinic. So these are some of the ground realities. Of course, we pitch in and we go there. We said, take minutes of the meeting, make sure that the clinical people are excluded from those meetings, and everything should be documented, because at the end, when you are presenting these kind of things, they come up and things are. So these are some of the things we need to work together and take it to the next level. And one of the, because of the local pharmaceutical industry, and I'm also honoring people to have this one. Thanks a lot. Okay, great. So 1 minute left is fine. In 30 seconds. In the last, because now our main obligation is bioequivalence studies. And at the moment, the timelines, all these things are so large in here. We have done one study in Pakistan, but now our experience of taking those things out of the Pakistan take lot less amount of time, within weeks, regulatory approvals, all things, quick professional work. Of course, the cost is much higher, but that's one area that we need to build over, because bioequivalence is not mandatory in Pakistan. But for example, Farmivo, we operate in 39, exporting to 39 different countries. In many countries, is obligation to do a bioequivalence study. So that's another area which need to be much more discussed and make sure that how it goes down. And again, thanks a lot, and looking forward to collaborating. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Masood Javed. Next, I would like to call Dr. Yusuf Hassan Khan for his comments. Dr. Yusuf Hassan Khan is the Medical Director at GSK Pakistan. With 27 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry, Dr. Khan has expertise in sales, marketing, regulatory affairs, and clinical trials. Previously, as head of clinical operations, he managed phase 3 trials and supported bioequivalence and epidemiology studies. Dr. Khan is also involved in public health research and has contributed to using technology to streamline clinical development processes. Please join me in welcoming on the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for that introduction. I just have a few comments. It's not, there's no slides. Working with clinical research since 2001, heard a lot of promises. This is not going to be a cynical speech. This is going to be full of hope towards the end. But this is at least, I think, the fourth major attempt at bringing clinical trials. And sometimes we wonder why we just don't get it. I think getting all of the stakeholders together is great, but I heard two magical words yesterday. One was follow-up, and two was, I think today also, you mentioned this is going to be a recurring event. I think this almost needs to be taken like a project. Pakistan, GSK used to do more clinical trials than GSK India at one point of time. I think there were 17